Due to public health issues arising from the coronavirus situation, the Sussex County Board of Chosen Freeholders will conduct this meeting remotely via a conference call. Callers are invited to listen and will have an opportunity to make comments by calling 973-310-7191. The New Jersey Department of Community Affairs will be having a presentation this evening, and if you want to view it, the presentation is currently on our county website at www.sussex.nj.us, and you can visit the Freeholder page for meetings and agenda to view this presentation. Tonight, it is the Freeholder meeting of October 28, 2020 at 6 p.m. for regular business via conference call. Before I begin, I would ask everyone that is on this call to please mute your phone unless you're speaking so we are not disturbed by any background noises. Thank you so much. Terry, I want to call to order this meeting. Can I have a roll call, please?
Freeholder Fantasia.
Here.
Freeholder Fasano.
Here.
Freeholder Hertzberg is absent at this time. Freeholder Director Patillo.
Here.
Freeholder Yardley.
Here.
Okay. Would you please stand with us for a moment of silence and a salute to the flag? And now our salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Our public statement. Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, adequate notice as defined by Section 3D of Chapter 231 PL 1975 has been made by regular mail and email, such notice being submitted on August 17, 2020, from the Administrative Center of the County of Sussex, located at 1 Spring Street, Newton, New Jersey, to the following: New Jersey Herald, New Jersey Sunday Herald, Star Ledger, WSUS Radio, WNNJ Radio, and is also posted on the bulletin board maintained in the Administration Center for Public Announcements and has been submitted to the Sussex County Clerk in compliance with said act. We are at number 5, approval of the agenda. May I please have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Yardley, I'll make the.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. We're going on to number 6, which is our proclamations, certificates, and presentations. And we have 2 proclamations for this evening. Our first proclamation is our salute to our veterans, which I am very honored to be able to read this evening. Whereas Sussex County is home to thousands of veterans who have stepped forward to defend our country and preserve our way of life, and whereas we salute the soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen who have rendered the highest service any American can offer, and we rededicate ourselves to fulfilling our commitment to all those who served. And whereas America's veterans are now leaders of our communities whose character reflects our enduring American spirit, setting examples of inspiration and strength. And whereas the people of Sussex County greatly appreciate the selfless and personal sacrifices of our past veterans and of those currently serving our country both on home and foreign soils. And whereas honoring our veterans encourages all of us to be more appreciative of the many freedoms we possess as Americans and the price that is being paid each day to allow us to enjoy those freedoms now and for generations to come. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Sussex County Board of Chosen Freeholders does hereby proclaim Sunday, November 1st, 2020, as the 20th annual Salute to Military Veterans, and a day to salute every veteran of this county, paying special tribute to the veterans, their families, and neighbors and friends, celebrating together today, enjoying the glorious freedom of the United States of America, and remembering in a special way those who are risking their lives abroad to make a better America for all of us. By order of the Board of Chosen Freeholders, Freeholder Director Sylvia Patillo, Freeholder Deputy Director Dawn Fantasia, Freeholder Anthony Pisano, Freeholder Josh Hertzberg, and Freeholder Herb Yardley, dated October 28, 2020. You know, it's very interesting that it's the 20th anniversary on 2020, but more so that we were able to actually hold a annual salute to our military veterans this year through a virtual presentation. Normally, we're up at the up in Frankfurt at the fairgrounds, and we have a big parade and a wonderful refreshments, and everyone comes inside, and we have speeches, and we give out the commemorative pins, and it is a phenomenal experience to have all of our veterans together under that roof and have the opportunity to honor them and to thank them. But this year, the Sussex County Board of Chosen Freeholders, the Division of Senior Services, and the Veterans Committee has coordinated to videotape this year's 20th Annual Salute to Military Veterans event. The Veterans Committee will distribute the video on Sunday, November 1st, 2020. The video will also be posted on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. A media release will be distributed explaining how veterans can access the presentation and receive their commemorative pin, which was crafted in recognition of their years of service. And I just want to say that this evening, we just released that video on our own website. And if you would like to view it, you could go to Senior Services homepage on Sussex County website, sussex.nj.us. Thank you. The next presentation that we have this evening is recognizing November is National Family Caregivers Month, and that will be read by Freeholder Anthony Pisano.
Thank you, Sylvia, and I just want to echo your sentiment and say how cool it was to be part of that video. Really cool. Proclamation here. Whereas over 90 million Americans today are family caregivers for their loved ones, and whereas a large number of them are finding themselves working to share in the care decisions that affect the health and well-being of their loved ones. And whereas, although caregiving can be a rewarding experience, it is not without its consequences, such as stress, poor health, and caregiver burnout. And whereas 6 out of 10 family caregivers juggle everyday life tasks, such as preparing the children for school, managing household responsibilities, and work full or part-time. In addition, as a vital member of the care team, they have the responsibility of advocating for their loved one and making decisions that lead to the best care outcomes. Whether it be a senior with Alzheimer's or a child with special needs, the required attention can be nonstop. And whereas making time for yourself and the family protects the family caregiver's own health, strengthens family relationships, prevents burnout, and can enable a care recipient to stay home up to 3 times longer. And whereas, with the responsibility of family caregivers in our community growing every year, it is even more essential to encourage these heroes to take some time to respite so they may continue their mission of providing loving care that only they can do. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Sussex County Board of Chosen Freeholders does hereby recognize November 2020 as National Family Caregivers Month. By the order of the Board of Chosen Freeholders, Director Sylvia Patillo, Deputy Director Dawn Fantasia, and Freeholders Anthony Pisano, Josh Hertzberg, and Herb Yardley. Thank you, Sylvia.
Thank you very much, Anthony. At this time, can I please have a motion to adopt the proclamations?
Fantasia, so moved.
A second, please.
Yardley, second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Opposed or abstentions? No. Okay. At this time, I'm very happy to introduce the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs Division of Local Government Services for their presentation this evening. And the participants will be the Shared Service Czars, which is Nicholas Platt, who's former mayor from Harding Township and current committee member in Harding Township and Shared Services Czar, and Jordan Glatt, who's former mayor City of Summit, current Shared Services Czar. I'm going to turn it over to you, gentlemen, and thank you so much for coming this evening.
Thank you, and thank you for having us. I'm Jordan Glatt. I'm the co-czar with Nick Platt. I just want to say I have the honor to be appointed by the governor to work with Nick on, the two of us are both to work together with Nick on the shared services. When Murphy was running for office, he pledged to appoint a shared service czar. Shortly after he was elected, he decided that this should be a bipartisan effort. So he appointed two czars, and that's how we got this title of co-czar. I am the Democrat, and Nick is a Republican, and it's worked out very nicely. I can't say how honored I am to be working with Nick on this project. We've been literally traveled thousands of miles pre-COVID together, from town to town, county to county, promoting shared services and trying to make matches with towns, between towns, to provide services more efficiently. We wanted to speak to Sussex County because we realize what a critical role county government can have in making shared services happen. And if you think about it, county government, almost by definition, is a shared service in all that counties do for the municipalities within. I know that Sussex County is already doing a lot of shared services, and we want to applaud you for that as well and encourage you to build on that success. As it was mentioned, both Nick and I are former mayors who instituted shared services in our own communities, so we do know how hard it is and some of the pushback you may receive. We both also have big backgrounds in business and in the not-for-profit area with deep roots in New Jersey. This is why we feel so strongly about helping New Jersey governments become more efficient. We know that the current tax environment is just not sustainable. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Nick to talk a little bit about what we've been doing to date. Nick?
Thank you, Jordan. You know, when Jordan and I were appointed 2.5 years ago in East Rutherford, during the press conference, we turned to the governor and said, you know, Governor, history has not been kind to czars. They always die painfully. And on the way home, Jordan and I had a chance to figure out how we were going to put this new job together. There had never been a czar appointed to study or tackle New Jersey's crippling property tax problem by putting together shared services. And we thought and put our hats on and said, you know, as elected officials, you know, far be it for us to go into any town and tell them how to run their municipality, where to find savings. They all ran in elections based on those very things. So that's not our job. In order to maintain that pledge, we do not go into a town unless there is a resolution signed by 2 of the local municipalities that want to do a shared service. Again, far be it for us to get involved in primary elections where, of course, we all know when we had opponents, it was about transparency and putting and providing essential services more efficiently. So we have been at this, as I mentioned, for 2.5 years. We work for $1. The one thing that enjoyment we get out of this is that the governor gave us his personal cell phone number. We report directly to the governor and no one else. So if there is a shared service agreement that is running into difficulty and may have some red tape that only a governor can help us get through, we have the ability to get the governor on the phone within minutes. And I think the longest we've waited is 6 minutes for him to respond to a text message. So that's pretty good. Our new focus and some of the things that you have already put in place, the joint municipal court, the 911 dispatch, and healthcare. And we are focusing right now on the 21 counties that make up New Jersey because that is probably the best way for the 565 municipalities to be able to provide some of those services. Now, I always start these conversations off by quoting Alan Karcher, who was the assemblyman who wrote the book, Multiple Municipal Madness. Well, in 1998, there were 566 municipalities, and now there's only 565 when Princeton Township and Princeton Borough merged. We all know that the big three are police, fire, and schools. Those are a little harder to tackle. There's a lot of special interests involved. There's a lot of your constituents that can consider schools tied directly to their property values. So what Jordan and I, again, are focusing on is trying to figure out ways that counties can offer some of the services and how the state can help them do that. Now, we have money. When Jordan and I drove away from East Rutherford 2.5 years ago, we had no budget. We had no staff. Now we have $10 million, and we have the DCA behind us. And I'm proud to say that where it takes 6 minutes for the governor to get back to us, we never let any request for assistance go more than 6 hours from the time we received an email or a phone call to the time that someone from the DCA would get back to you. Now, how do we expend that money? Well, there's LEAP grants, and I'm going to be turning this microphone or the floor over to Rick, who is going to go through our slides, but there are LEAP grants that you'll be able to apply for. And we all remember, because I'm sure that every one of you who are freeholders started out as elected officials in your town. And we all know what it's like to be standing up before our taxpayer and holding up a report showing savings. Now, to get that report would probably cost us $10,000 to $15,000, a lot of time, and sometimes you don't know about that report until the elected official has left office and they're doing a cleanup day and they find the report in his drawer. Because one of the things that Jordan left out of his little couple of minutes was that, we can deliver all of these reports. We can give you all the support in the world, but it's going to take courage on your part and putting up political capital to getting some of these shared services through. But we're here to help you. And it's a turnkey system. And Rick, why don't you describe how the LEAP grant works?
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rick Richardella. I'm the Bureau Chief for the Division of Local Government Services. And I think I had the pleasure of meeting all the members of the Freeholder Board once before when we made a presentation, a letter from Governor Murphy touting the good work that the freeholders were doing up there in Sussex with the combination of the Morris and Sussex County Jail. So kudos to you guys. Again, I'm a retired police chief, and I've worked in the DCA for approximately 20 years, and I was one of the people who put many shared services together. And on slide 5, we talk about facility sharing, and you guys already know about that with doing the Morris and Sussex County Jail. Capital sharing, we'd like to talk about that with the county providing some equipment to municipalities. Key position sharing, where we talk about maybe the county can provide some financial individuals or tax collectors. I know tax collectors are big down in southern Jersey, where the county is doing the tax collection. Department mergers, again, you've been involved with that with the jail, and certainly contracted services you've been involved with. On slide 6, I'd like to emphasize how shared services was going before the governor appointed the 2 czars. And in 2017, you could see we had 397 shared service agreements on file. And when the czars came on board, it almost doubled, going up to 614. And then we added another third when we really started the ball rolling, and we're up to 906 for 2019. So since the czars have been in place, we've had over 1,500 shared service agreements that have come in to our office, and the agreements are growing. The great thing about these agreements is that anyone can call our office and ask for assistance on it, and we can provide them with a sample agreement, whether it's animal control or just recently today, we got a request from Cumberland County on doing a combined jail, and we used a lot of the information from Sussex and Morris to help them get their foot in the door. But I wanted to compliment Sussex County for all the shared services that they have in place. In 2019, you did 43, and in 2020, thus far, you have 21. And with the pandemic, I think that's pretty darn good with what's going on in your organization. And again, kudos to the county freeholders for all the work that they're doing with the medical examiner's office, fire prevention, and things of that sort. As Nick stated on the next slide on number 8, the LEAP grant, we have $10 million. This is the second round of LEAP grants that the Governor Murphy has put in place, and the DCA runs under the auspice of Lieutenant Governor Sheila Alver, and she's very excited about this grant program where we can come up with grants, implementation grants, or county coordinators. The challenge grant is kind of a program on the next slide, slide 9, that talks about thinking outside the box. Maybe the county might want to come up with something, and we are allowed to give you up to $150,000 where you can collaborate with another organization or partnership with another local government entity to get a program off the ground. So we're very excited about that. The next one on page 10 talks about the implementation grant, which allows funds to help cover costs associated with the shared service implementation, one-time reimbursable costs, startup costs, things of that sort. And I just wanted to, again, give another kudo to your sheriff, as he made and Greg for making an application to our office for an implementation grant. And we provided him, I think, with $100,000 for transportation vehicles for the transportation of the prisoners from Sussex down to Morris. So you have been a recipient of this. Also, we have a $50,000 grant for fellowships. This is so that the county can hire almost like a shared service coordinator. And if you haven't done so, I don't think that Sussex is in the program. We would urge you to file an application where you can bring an employee on, and they can be the point person that DCA can work with. And they'll be working with my team. We have a team of about 18 or 19 people in my office, all with different expertise that can help any of the counties with regard to this. So we're hoping that you take advantage of this coming November when we make the next announcement for the county fellowship grants. Some of the success stories on our first round had to do with Chesterfield, which was a fire district. Dennis Township dealt with the Department of Education. Lambertville was economic development. North Wildwood was a fire district. And of course, we have Sussex and Morris on the jail consolidation with the vehicles that they needed. Roxbury and Chester, they did something up there for the Board of Educations. Chester did something with the courts. One of the interesting ones was Woolwich and the police department with South Harrison doing both the police department and the municipal court. And as Nick stated to you earlier, we're very excited about municipal courts and virtual courts. We had a meeting with the New Jersey's AOC director, Judge Grant, who was very proactive with doing the virtual courts. And I guess one of the good things that came out of the pandemic is that the courts have been moved into the 21st century where they're holding hearings now virtually with the judge and the prosecutor. Pine Lands Board of Education is doing one, Roosevelt School Board District. Salem School District down in Salem County has 12 districts contained in it, and they want to merge into one school district. So I don't have to tell you what superintendents cost in each of those districts. So there's a minimum of $150,000 to $175,000 savings. So they're doing a study down there in Salem right now. And Bergen, Hudson, and Passaic are doing a medical examiner's office study. And then these are the counties that are participating presently in the fellowship. And again, I emphasize that Sussex should apply so they can get somebody in the door so that they can come into our office and we give them a 2-day orientation training with regard to that. So it's Atlantic County, Cumberland County, Gloucester, Ocean, Passaic, and Union counties have participating in it. And on that slide, which is slide number 12, you can see that we have all the contact information for Local Assistance Bureau and the LEAP grant. One of the other things that I wanted to emphasize, and Greg's already taken advantage of this by contacting us, is that we can conduct studies, feasibility studies, for free. The only thing you have to do, as Nick stated earlier, is send in a letter, or the mayor has to send in a letter requesting that we conduct a feasibility study on a project, and we'll assign the experts from our office to that location, and they'll do a review for that municipality and or the county with regard to a project, so that we can give you some insurance on your quantitative analysis. One of the other things that the czars like to mention is that we provide political support. We know these are tough decisions. Nick brought it up. The courage that's needed for this. Everybody knows that there's a cost savings, but nobody wants to take the first step. So our office will also provide the political coverage that you need. We've already just talked about the grants that are available and the mentorship that we have with the fellowship program for the grants. And again, my office is the point of contact, and we can certainly give you a hand with regard to setting up these shared services and doing all the grunt work for you, and you get all the notoriety for it. Again, one of the pages has the telephone numbers of the czars on it and my email if anybody wants to reach out to me. And I guess we're open at this point from any of the freeholders or AKA the new commissioners with your new language for Q&A.
Rick, first I want to apologize for not introducing you at the beginning of this meeting. I didn't realize you would be here for the presentation. And I do want to thank all that you did for us, the information and for that LEAP grant. It was $93,000. That was a great help to us when we were beginning to work on that shared service agreement. It's interesting to hear all the things that you're offering now that are really very helpful. And the information and the people that you brought with you, I just want to mention this, were so knowledgeable in all of these different issues. They picked up so many little things that we had missed or had put on the side and not really realized the importance of some of them. So it was a great help having you up here at that meeting. I want to thank you for it. Are there any freeholders that would like to ask any questions?
Yes, Sylvia.
Hi, Justin.
Herb, you want to go first?
No, I don't know, whoever's on the phone, let them go.
I'm sorry, Herb, that was me. Yeah, I had a question. Thank you, by the way. This is very comprehensive. I really appreciate this information. It's going to be very helpful moving forward. My question is with, some of the unknowns, and I know none of us have a crystal ball to look in the future, but do you see any of this funding impacted at all based upon the current climate with the budget and with the COVID pandemic?
It's Jordan Glad here. My thinking it's Jordan Glad here. My thinking here is going the other way. What the administration, I originally, before, when he put out the new budget, everybody got cut, including us. And then when Murphy released his, I want to call it his second budget, revised budget, he actually upped our money, realizing that shared services is going to be a key for a lot of the towns to work their way out of some of the financial issues they have. So our sense is it's going to, if anything, it's going to go on the upside versus the other way.
Yeah, I agree. In fact, there's $3 million in addition if we take on the school redistricting project. So, but there's still going to be more than enough money to do the shared service elite grants that we need to do for the county. So it was a good question, but our fingers are crossed too. But this is the new budget with COVID has been an issue for 7 months, and these are the new numbers.
What is the school redistricting project?
That's been on the books for about 5 years, where they're talking about, as I mentioned in the beginning, the big three, police, fire, and schools. There are some districts in New Jersey that the school districts don't have enough youngsters, and they're going to have to redistrict and consolidate some schools, and those studies are being undertaken probably somewhere along the DCA, because the DOE does not want to, it doesn't have the capability of doing it.
Okay. Is there anyone else that has any questions?
Can I ask a question piggybacking on the information you just shared about the schools? So is there, I know you said it's been kind of tossed around now for 5 years or so. Is there any anticipated timeline on when any movement would happen with that?
No, it is in Senate President Sweeney's Pathway to Progress report as one of the big items that we have to look at, school waste, whether there's a way to do consolidation on school lunches, buying supplies. There's a lot of inefficiencies in the school programs, and that's just one of them. And
all the way
when
up
I say
to
redistricting,
all the way up to even merging, getting K through 8 to merge into their sending districts to take out a layer that way. I mean, it's kind of a wide open field right now of what they're looking at.
We had discussed, I know with our District 24 legislators, I had discussed, because I'm a school principal in Bergen County, and we had discussed the procurement process and how, when there's contracts that we purchase under, how oftentimes there are many, many cheaper options available to us, but current regulations prohibit us from purchasing that way. So there's so many inefficiencies. It seems to be a mammoth task. That's all. So I'm very interested in seeing.
And actually, Freeholder, the first meeting we had with the governor, procurement was the first thing he asked about. And so you're right, the inefficiencies are there. And again, who better knows the answers to this than people like you, the school principals or former school principals, who know how the system works and can point us in the right direction. So it's all good to start beginning to talk about this.
Great. Thank you so much.
This is Rick with regard to the Bergen County principal. I know that our procurement officer, who again works under the Local Assistance Bureau, has been working on some legislation that should help with the programs between the school's procurement. I know she had contacted me last week. She was doing a presentation to, I guess, some school boards last week about procurement issues. So I think they're trying to get that straightened out. But, the municipality has many, many avenues of co-buying. And I think that's what you're talking about, where you can end up buying the services for a lot cheaper if you go into a co-purchasing type of program. So a lot of times you can go to the municipality and ask them to do it. And a lot of those vendors are on state contract, municipal vendors that are on state contract that could probably help you where you don't have to absorb these, heavy costs for, purchasing notebooks and computers and things of that sort. So, to answer your question, DCA is working on it. I have to tell you that, our boss, Melanie Walter, very 21st century, leadership. She's the one that created this program with the Local Assistance Bureau and bringing in, all of our, expertise staff. Everybody has a specialty. We have fire, we have police, we have court people, we have administrators, CFOs. We have many, many titles in our office, and we can send them out both individually or as a team. One of the other things that we do is we do recruitment. Many times people go out and they want to get a headhunter and to look for a business administrator or a tax collector or something like that in a municipality. We can do that for you for free of charge. We have people who have hired many, many people over their years. And I think that Melanie had did a report on all the experience. I know I have 40 plus years experience working in a municipality and working at DCA, and our staff has over 400 years. That's the staff and Local Assistance Bureau that goes out and assists municipalities and or counties. So I just wanted to emphasize the fact that we're here. We can do the feasibility studies, or we can do hiring for you, and it would save you money. There's nothing more that Governor Murphy wants to do is save taxpayers funds with regard to the Local Assistance Bureau.
I have a question, please.
Yes, ma'am.
You're selling this as a good idea, which can be a good idea, which Governor Murphy, I apologize, is trying to make himself sound good and realistically
Excuse me, who's on the phone?
money.
Yeah, could you please give us your name?
Yes, Stephen Thompson. But yet he is increasing taxes on the wealthy and increasing fees and cutting programs, but yet has money to give away to all these counties. Where's this money coming from when he's cutting programs that are good for other people? I mean, like the Veteran Diversion Program, how much money is even allocated for that? No one's receiving money for the Veteran Diversion Program. So you're trying to sell a good concept, but yet cutting money from a lot of other programs that are supposed to be doing good for other citizens.
Well, quite frankly, Stephen, I'm not in at that ground level of the budgets. My limitation is very small, and I just deal with the centralized area of shared services, and that's my assignment. And before that, obviously, I was a police chief in a municipality that had 25,000 people in it, and we exercised a lot of these things that Governor Murphy has in place. But when it comes to the budgets and what's in there and what programs are in there, I couldn't even think of commenting on any of those things.
Right, I understand, but you have this money to give away, but no money to give away anywhere else for programs that work.
Well, I would answer is that the amount of money spent for this program, the return has been more than 100-fold in terms of savings.
Mr. Thompson, let me just interrupt for just a minute. This is not the public session, but since you did ask a question, maybe I can help answer that for you. Is budget-related issues, you would have to speak to your senator and to your assembly. Okay, that's where your budget
yes,
is.
which none of them respond to anyway, so this is really,
Okay, well, let's talk about this at the public session, if you don't mind, which is coming up pretty soon. I'm going to open up to the floor for the public, and then you can speak on that, and we can have a bigger discussion on the issues that you're presenting right now. Because the presentation here, the people that we have, they can't answer that question for you. Okay, so can we hold your question till our open comment period for the public, which is in about 10 minutes?
I haven't commented again. You're free. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any other questions
yeah.
regarding shared services?
Anything from the freeholders?
This is Freeholder Anthony Pisano, and I just wanted to the three of you, that was very comprehensive. You answered all of my questions and then some, so really appreciate you taking the time tonight to give us that presentation and at least educate me. So thank you.
Well,
Thank
again,
you for having us.
thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
We've taken this road trip, and we're visiting every county and speaking to all the freeholders in the whole state to emphasize the importance of the shared services. And as Jordan stated, the amount of money spent versus what we're getting back is enormous. And I want to thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate the presentation. And every time I hear from you, we hear more and more things that you're doing and more opportunities. And it's nice to see that there's so many municipalities and counties taking advantage of what you're doing. So thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. Okay, we'll move on to number 7, which is public hearings. There are none. And now we're going to the public session for comments. We have 2 public sessions in every meeting. This public session is only about issues that are on the agenda. The second public session is about any issue you want to speak about. So this public session is for questions or comments pertaining to agenda items only. Before we open this session, we ask callers wanting to make a comment to first state your name and municipality, and then the clerk will create a roster and call each in the order received. Your comments are limited to 3 minutes or less. Can I please have a motion to open the floor to the public?
Fantasia, so moved.
Is there a second?
Second, Anthony.
Anthony, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, anyone from the public that would like to speak, would you just say your name and municipality, and our clerk will make a list, and then she will call you in order of whoever gives us the name first. So is there anyone that would like to speak this evening? Mr. Thompson, did you want to speak?
Yes, not about the agenda though.
Okay, then let's wait till the second one. Is there
Yeah,
anyone that
thank
wants
you.
to speak on the agenda? Okay, not hearing anyone. Can I have a motion to close the open session?
I'll make the motion.
Fantasia,
Okay, and a
Fantasia,
second?
second.
Okay, thank you. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? No. Okay. We're going to move on to freeholder comments, and I'd like to begin with freeholder Anthony Pisano.
Thank you, Sylvia, and thank you all to who are joining us this evening. I first want to take a moment to congratulate the Musconetcong Watershed Association for all of their hard work. Late last week, the Secretary of Interior designated the Musconetcong Water Trail as a new national recreational trail. That is quite an accomplishment and literally puts our backyards on a national map for recreational tourism while spotlighting our region's natural beauty, from Lake Opakon to the Delaware Water Gap and everywhere in between. It's outstanding, and I'm very appreciative of the MWA's work on that. At every meeting of ours since March, we've given an update on where Sussex County is and what I've called our collective fight against COVID-19 and what steps Sussex County is taking to combat it. And tonight, we are taking another important step with the announcement of COVID-19 at-home test kits, which are now available through LabCorp to all Sussex County residents over the age of 18. This at-home testing program is designed to be easy, quick, and at no charge. Our residents can simply go online to request an at-home testing kit to be sent to your home via FedEx. The Pixel COVID-19 at-home testing kit by LabCorp is a molecular test, also known as the RT-PCR test, which detects the presence or absence of the virus. You'll be sent an email when your testing kit has shipped and when it has been delivered. Simply follow the instructions to register your kit and collect your sample, and then use the included FedEx overnight shipping label to return your sample to LabCorp. The test is done by nasal swab, and it is painless. You'll then receive results via email from LabCorp, typically between 24 to 48 hours of them receiving your sample. Testing requires a physician order, and for your convenience, LabCorp has contracted with PWN Health to provide physician services, which is included with the test. Payment upfront is not required to request an at-home test. Federal legislation requires private health insurance plans to cover this test. However, federal legislation also provides funds to reimburse providers for COVID-19 testing of uninsured patients. So regardless of if you have insurance or if you are uninsured, you will have the opportunity to request this test at no charge. This program is crucial in our testing plans for the fall. And I have to thank our county administrator, Greg Poff, who has been really instrumental in getting this off the ground, and his entire team, along with the good folks at LabCorp, for being willing to work with us. Information will continue to be made available on our website regarding this program, which I think has tremendous potential in being a key tool to combat this virus. From anywhere in Sussex County, you can now be tested for COVID-19 from the convenience of your home. And I'm thrilled to see it offered here and thrilled to see what it leads to. I also want to mention that Sussex County is in the process of developing a COVID-19 mass vaccination operational and point of distribution plan to be submitted to the New Jersey Department of Health for approval. Sussex County's vaccination goals are very similar to our goals with just about everything we've done when it comes to COVID-19 throughout the year, which is saving lives, ensuring safety, continuing vigilance in prevention, and maintaining a commitment towards reopening businesses in Sussex County. This mass vaccination plan includes methods to ensure underserved populations, such as homeless, fragile seniors, and residents living in senior and low-income housing, who will receive vaccinations in an effort to achieve these goals. The county has not yet received a timeline for when vaccinations will be available for distribution, and an individual, of course, may choose if they want to receive a COVID-19 vaccination at the time that it is offered. So we are making progress, and we will continue to make progress here at the county level when it comes to addressing COVID-19. Finally, I want to mention, as I'm sure many of you are aware, there is an election in 6 days. And if you haven't voted yet, I think it's safe to say you're probably in the minority, and you should make a plan to do that. And you do have ways to submit your ballot that you have received. Certainly, you can submit it by mail, and they must carry a postmark no later than November 3rd and be received by the Board of Elections no later than 8 p.m. on November 10th. You can deliver it in person to the County Board of Elections here in Spring Street on Newton. You can, of course, vote by mail. You can deliver it, I mentioned that already. You can deposit it, rather, in one of the drop boxes placed throughout the county. And finally, you can bring your ballot in person to your assigned polling place and submit it there on Election Day. So make sure you get out and vote. Thank you, Sylvia, and that concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you very much. Freeholder Herb Yardley, please.
Thank you, Sylvia. I just wanted to recognize our first responders. Today is National First Responder Day. In 2019, the Senate passed a resolution designating today, October 28th, as National First Responder Day. And I just want to commend all the men and women that put their lives on the line for many of the things that we just take for granted in our life. Fires, public safety, EMS, all of those people, and those that I haven't mentioned that are our first responders, I want to say thank you. I just have a short report. There are about 3 days left for those people or businesses that are looking to get some funding from the federal government, the grants, and you can get anywhere from $5,000 up to $20,000 depending on your business. And restaurants need to apply by the October 29th. Small micro businesses October 30th, and other business have until Monday, November 2nd. There are applications for that, and the best place to go for that information would be to the Chamber, Sussex County Chamber. Their website would have that information, and there are some sample applications. Also, the application for the Senior Freeze program was extended to December 31st, so there's still time for seniors to file. And that's the extent of my report. Thanks, Sylvia.
Thank you very much. Deputy Director Dawn Fantasia, please.
Thank you. Tonight I'm going to start off touching upon a bill that is currently slated to be presented in the Assembly tomorrow. As of this afternoon, I spoke with Assemblyman Wirtz. I understand it has been pulled from the Senate, but it still remains on the list for the Assembly tomorrow. That's Assembly Bill 4655. This bill limits law enforcement presence at polling places and at ballot drop boxes, and it prohibits electioneering within 100 feet of ballot drop boxes. Now, you know that electioneering cannot take place within 100 feet of a polling station, but this now also carries that to the actual drop boxes. That is not the problematic piece. The problematic piece is the limiting of law enforcement presence at polling places and ballot drop boxes. I hope you're sitting down right now, because what I'm about to explain to you is absolutely beyond the pale. So this bill was first introduced on September 17th, and now it's been revised with new language. It's been redlined with a significant amount of additions made to it as of yesterday, 10/26, and it did clear the committee with a majority vote. So just to explain, the language in it says that the district boards of every election district shall preserve the peace and maintain good order in the respective polling places during the progress of all elections and the counting of the votes cast thereat. To that end, each member of every board of elections during the progress of an election and the counting and canvassing of votes shall be and hereby is invested in charge with the powers and duties of constables of this state in criminal matters. Such election board shall not request the municipal authorities of any municipality to detail one or more police officers to assist in preserving the peace and good order in any such polling place. No such request shall be complied with by the body or officer for whom the same is made. So what this is in essence saying, and there's much language, I mean, this bill is lengthy, especially with some of the changes in it, but it is now removing law enforcement presence in order to maintain order during an election. This is brand new. Nothing like this has ever been done before, the removal of law enforcement. Now, if you think about where our current ballot boxes are placed in the municipalities, they are at our town halls. And I know in Franklin specifically, that ballot box is placed directly under a surveillance camera that is monitored 24 hours. It's required to be monitored 24 hours by the police department. So now you're saying the police department who is monitoring that now may not enforce, the order of that box should they see anything. So we have 13 boxes in the county, and we have 4 members of the Board of Elections who are certainly going to be busy, and I don't think either of them, even if they tag teamed, could do 24-hour surveillance of these boxes around the election. So that therein itself is ludicrous. It does also go on to say that the only way a police officer is permitted near a polling location is if they go just to vote and then leave immediately. New language was added in that said that police officers now may be contacted in case of a emergency. And then the Board of Elections is charged with immediately contacting the Attorney General to report the nature of the emergency and all of the details wherein and the duration of time that was involved with any of this. So this is another issue that just, I was just absolutely dumbfounded when I was listening to this. And then, to add further insult to injury, as of January 1st, 2021, no boxes may be placed within 100 feet of a police station. So, you know, on the surface, that's a directive. However, what's behind it, this suggests to me, reading this bill, that we intend on moving forward with this vote by mail experiment, that all you have to do is monitor all of the county clerks and some of their public postings of what they are sharing and what they are experiencing with multiple ballots being received, with ballots still not being received yet. There is much confusion, and I'm concerned that this is disenfranchising voters. And now we're going to perpetuate this system into the future, into future elections. So we're talking from January 1st, 2021, we're still going to be playing this reindeer game. When we look across the bridge, New York City has instituted early voting, and they're voting in person in New York City. Governor Cuomo has completely authorized that system. But here in New Jersey, we're still doing it Flintstone style, and we're sending it out on paper. We have 25 workers now going through, opening, touching, sitting in rooms together, because this is allegedly safer, and we will perpetuate this in the future, but we will not ensure law and order the day of the actual election, or actually leading up to it, because if this passes, this becomes effective immediately. So again, this is another prime example how law enforcement has somehow been ostracized by this administration. Add this to the list. We are no longer a state of law and order, and our law enforcement officers are being villainized. I cannot tell you how unbelievable this is. I spoke with Sheriff Strada directly about this as well, and he was flabbergasted, and some of his counterparts, sheriffs across the state, also discussed this, and he put up the warning flag for this, because again, somehow all law enforcement is painted with a broad brush. And now we have constables and members of the Board of Elections who are now charged with keeping law and order during the election process. It's just outrageous. And I'm not going to beat a dead horse with this, but watch this vote tomorrow. Watch this vote tomorrow. Very important. I'm going to move on to our COVID information. The New Jersey Department of Health estimates Sussex County has 140,000 people, and the new numbers for county residents who have received and reported a test for COVID-19 is now at 38,503. So more than 27.5% of our county residents have been tested. 1,848 tests have been reported as positive cases for a positivity rate of 4.7%. Now, of those positive cases, 1,454 have been classified as recovered. So presently we have a recovery rate of 79%. Now, again, a person is deemed recovered if they're not hospitalized or, God forbid, if they've passed when the public health nursing staff makes attempts to contact them or their family. Now, 184 cases are currently under investigation. So a case is deemed under investigation throughout the time period the person is required to isolate during a COVID diagnosis. So currently, those individuals are going through their either 10 to 14-day period. Now, there's been 197 deaths, and our death rate keeps coming down, which is excellent. We used to be well over 14%. Our death rate is now 10.6%. There's been no new deaths in over 2.5 months. August 14th is the last death reported in the county. Now, by way of nursing home COVID stats, 473 positive cases between staff and residents, a vast majority is residents of those numbers. 26.6% of the county's positive cases did originate in our long-term care facilities. Now, 115 fatalities, 58.4% of our fatalities originated in nursing homes. Now, the new piece I had called the health department, many people, even on our government social media page, are requesting hospitalization information. I've requested for a couple weeks that to be added, and I'm very happy the epidemiologist has confirmed that she'll be adding this information to our report. So I do have hospitalization information for you. This month, in the month of October, there have been a total of 14 hospitalizations among county residents, and their ages ranged from the youngest was 29 years old and the oldest was 79 years old. However, as of today, Newton Memorial Hospital has 2 COVID cases hospitalized. Those are individuals from Sussex County, and there is one person that is hospitalized right now, but they are from Pennsylvania, but they are in Newton Hospital currently. Now, to explain the rise in cases, we do know when we started to see those spikes, they were originating oftentimes due to sporting events. They were originating, and then they were spread to family members. The trend now that we are seeing is the epidemiologist is attributing it most to the rise in family clusters. So if one individual is infected, we do see that the cases are spreading throughout households. So that seems to be the challenge here. So that's what I have as far as our COVID statistics from the health department. I was invited this past Saturday to attend Scout Day for the Boy Scouts Pack 90. Part of their requirements for the older children that are in that group is they must speak to somebody in government. And I was very pleased that they asked me because I'm from Franklin, and I got a majority of their kids are from Franklin. Some are from Vernon. They even had a couple from West Milford. But I got to speak to them about what we do at the county and the services that we offer. And I talked to them about how we help people specifically in relation to the pandemic. And they shared with me some of the service projects that they had worked on. And they had done projects to help the elderly clean up their property after Superstorm Sandy, and from different storms. Their PAC has a long history of cleaning up after different storms. So this just past this past storm that we have had, where all the trees came down and the electric was out and whatnot, they went out and followed in the footsteps of their predecessors who did help after Sandy, and they were able to help clean up property for the elderly. So I thought that was really great. And they also are making cards for military members. One of the young boys shared that his father is in the military, so that prompted the group to send cards overseas. So they were just a really great group of kids, and it was so nice to see them out and about. It was a little chilly, but everybody was running around and having a really good time, and it was definitely a fun afternoon with that group. I did get some news today that the New Jersey State Council on the Arts approved over $16.3 million in grants and established some COVID relief programs. So it was meant to support jobs, some arts nonprofits and services in all of the 21 counties. Now, I spoke with Trevor Hodgson via email back and forth, and he actually got this news a day earlier. He was part of the presentation and was aware of what Sussex County did receive this year. This year, we received $54,457. That is intended to keep the Sussex County Arts and Heritage Council moving forward, and that was a $5,000 increase from a prior year. So they were definitely pleased with that, to be able to keep some of their arts projects going. You know, now we know mental health is so important during times of isolation, and I love that our Arts and Heritage Council focuses on so many arts programs for seniors, and some of our seniors have even won state awards for the artwork they've submitted. So I think it's absolutely fabulous that these programs still keep going to keep our seniors really active and invested and keeping their skills sharpened, especially during times of isolation. So I was very, very happy to see that. I was able to attend some budget meetings. We have started that process, obviously, for the upcoming year. And on Thursday, October 22nd, I was able to meet with senior services, social services, transit, youth and mental health, the health department, public health nursing, the Office of Mosquito, weights and measures, and then with the Sussex County College as well. So it was a very busy day, but we were able to ask all the questions that we needed to ask, and both myself and Freeholder Fasano will have another meeting actually to kind of compare notes and some of the proposals and some of the changes that we would like to see made. But I can't tell you how comprehensive these plans were that were given to us with valid reasoning behind, and I can say with great certainty that the individuals that are working at the county absolutely understand the difference between needs versus wants. And I think it's absolutely outstanding how prudent they were in what they were asking for, how logical they were, and some of the cost-saving measures that they brought to the table. And another good thing I wanted to mention is the Office of Social Services was deemed right out of the gate as essential. Those workers were deemed essential when COVID, the epidemic first started, the pandemic first started. And there have been little to no complaints or grumbling. Everybody went in. It was all hands on deck, and everybody understood that there was a great need in the community for social services at that time. And the department heads could not stop raving about how proud they were of the culture and climate in their offices and of their staff and the willingness to be able to serve the public. So it was just really an uplifting meeting, and I was so happy to meet with them. I'm really proud of the work that they're doing. And the last update that I have here came from our finance office here. Elka sent to us for our review the September 2020 financials. As with previous months, some of our revenue continues to lag compared to the budget due to COVID and other related executive orders and the interest rates being low. But as more COVID grants come in, we're able to shift some of our expenses in response to the pandemic. So COVID-related grants are sometimes they're referred to as a large jigsaw puzzle. So, in our offices we have Rob, we have Ruby, and we have Mary Lee, and they work together to make sure that we are staying within the parameters of those COVID grants and what is not crossing over and what is appropriate and what can be applied to what. So we do have a team. We have 3 individuals who are consistently working on what's available grant-wise to alleviate some of these increased expenses that we've had. So they work very, very hard under the guidance of Elka. So again, thank you to our department heads, and thank you to, just our finance department in general, because they're just doing an outstanding job keeping their eyes on, prudence in how we're spending our funds. And that's what I have for this evening, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Dawn. I'd like to begin. On Sunday, we had a tribute for Sergeant Michael Kerspel Jr. He is a PACON's hometown hero. He was killed in Afghanistan on October 27, 2010, and this year is his 10th anniversary. Michael is remembered as a man of valor, as a loving son and brother, and as our very precious fallen hero. There were men from his unit that come every single year to a PACON to give tribute and honor to Michael. They are amazing men. They are our patriots, and they are the people who stand between us and losing our freedom. And I just can't say how amazing and how wonderful it is to stand in the presence of real patriots that are fighting a battle so that we can live a life of liberty and freedom in this country. Next, I would like to have a message here from the Board of Elections. They want to thank the Freeholders for all their support and help, and they also want to thank the office staff and all the individuals who come into the Board of Elections to help the staff with preparation for the general election. All of them have done a tremendous job, and they say that everything has gone smoothly thanks to their hard work. They also have 6 National Guardsmen here to help them with the processing of the ballots. The Board of Elections will count the ballots and expects to have preliminary results the night of the election. However, the information will be updated daily for approximately 7 to 8 days, at which time they expect to have the final results. So there will be a preliminary number on the night of election night, which is next Tuesday, and then about 7 or 8 days later, they will have the final results. In-person ballots as of today were 3,700. Drop-box was 35,000. The mail was 15,400, and the bearers was 3,800. So today's total for ballots is 57,900, and I would ask that if you have not returned your ballot, to do so soon. I just want to speak a little on where our flu vaccines are for our seniors. To ensure that our seniors receive the high-dose flu vaccine timely, we have arranged for the following flu clinics. You could go to Walgreens Pharmacy at the Apacon Senior Center at 32 Lakeside Boulevard in Apacon on Thursday, November 19th, beginning at 12:30. And you can register by calling 973-770-2701. It is free with Medicare Part B. Otherwise, the pharmacy will bill your insurance company. Next, you can go to Sparta Pharmacy at the Knoll Heights Senior Center at 39 Trapasso Drive in Sparta on Monday, November 16th from 3 to 5 p.m. And you can register for that at 973-579-0555, extension 1285, or call Knoll Heights at 973-729-4311. The next one is there will be a flu clinic in collaboration with Atlantic Health at Newton Medical Center. They'll be administrating free flu vaccines to uninsured and underinsured community members at the Franklin Senior Center on Thursday, November 5th from 4 to 6 p.m. They'll have only the regular flu vaccine will be available. The high-dose vaccine will not be available at that site. The Franklin Senior Center is at 46 Main Street in Franklin. 50 appointments will be available on a first-come, first-served basis. You can call the Public Health Nursing at 973-579-0570, extension 1211. Then the other clinic will be held at Wentworth Campus in November, Tuesday, November 12th from 2 to 4 p.m. That's the Health Check Clinic. And for additional information or to schedule an appointment, you can contact Public Health Nursing at 973-579-0570, extension 1211. And the last thing I want to speak about is the Sussex County Education Partnership Free Fall 2020 event. It's hosting a free virtual event for school personnel, law enforcement, community services providers, parents, and caretakers. The event consists of a 90-minute movie called Screenagers, Next Chapter, that will be available for viewers to watch at their convenience from November 9th through November 23rd. The movie is a valuable resource to help kids, teens, and parents develop skills for managing stress, anxiety, and depression. It is also a terrific tool for schools seeking social, emotional engagement tools. And with that is the end of my comments. Okay, we're on to number 10, which is approval of the consent agenda from A to 1. The Board of Chosen Freeholders, not to 1, to I, A to I, I'm sorry. The Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Sussex has reviewed the consent agenda consisting of various proposed resolutions and determined that adoption of the said resolutions is in and will further the public interest. If any freeholder would like to remove an item to be considered separately, please do so now. Would anyone like to remove an item? Not hearing any, can I please have a motion to approve the consent agenda from A to I?
Fantasia, so moved.
Second, please.
Yardley, second.
Okay, Terry, can we have a roll call, please?
Freeholder Fantasia,
Yes.
Freeholder Fasano,
Yes.
Freeholder Director Patillo,
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley.
Yes.
All right, number 11 is approval of minutes for the regular meeting October 15th, 2020, and the executive session minutes October 15th, 2020. Can I please have a motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting and the executive session?
Fantasia, so moved.
Second, please.
Yardley, second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? No. Okay. Number 12, appointments and resignations. We do not have any this evening. 13 are the resolutions from A through C. May I have a motion to adopt said resolutions A through C?
Fantasia, so moved.
Second, please.
Yardley will second it.
Terry, have a roll call vote?
Freeholder Fantasia,
Yes.
Freeholder Fasano,
Yes.
Freeholder Director Patillo,
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley.
Yes.
Next are awards of contract, change orders, and bids. The Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Sussex has reviewed the award of contract change bid orders consisting of various proposed resolutions and determined that adoption of the said resolutions is in and will further the public interest. Can I please have a motion to move resolution A through H?
Fantasia, so moved.
Second, please.
Yardley second.
Okay, Terry, a roll call, please.
Freeholder Fantasia,
Yes.
Freeholder Fasano,
Yes.
Freeholder Director Patillo,
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley.
Yes.
Okay, 15 is financial. We have resolution for the payment of bills. The bill list for October 28th, 2020. Can I please have a motion to approve the bill list?
Fantasia, so
Yep.
moved.
Second, please.
Yardley will second it.
Okay, have a roll call vote, please.
Freeholder Fantasia,
Yes.
Freeholder Fasano,
Yes.
Freeholder Director Patillo,
Yes.
Freeholder Yardley.
Yes.
Right, 16 is personnel, a resolution authorizing personnel agenda of October 28, 2020. Can I have a motion to adopt the personnel agenda?
Fantasia, so moved.
Second?
Yardley.
Is there any discussion? No? Terry, roll call, please.
Freeholder Fantasia,
Yes.
Freeholder Fasano,
Yes.
Freeholder Director Patillo,
Yes?
Freeholder Yardley.
Yes.
Yes. At this time, we're on number 17, the administrative report. Mr. Pop.
Thank you, Director. My comments this evening are brief. I appreciate Freeholder Fantasia's observations of the budget process. I too am consistently impressed with the contributions made by the various department administrators and division directors with their requests. It makes our job that much easier as they come to the table well prepared with very good ideas and recognizing the limitations that we have in regards to available resources. Secondly, I appreciate Freeholder Fasano's comments in regards to our cooperative effort with LabCorp and encourage everyone to access the county website in order to be able to obtain an at-home COVID test kit. We will now be continuing our efforts on expanding testing to at-risk populations as well as some other testing initiatives which we'll be able to share in the coming weeks. And lastly, as you all are aware, the governor has issued another executive order today requiring both public and private businesses implement certain COVID protocols. I'm pleased to say that based upon a preliminary review of that executive order, that Sussex County has been in compliance with all but one of the requirements since June. So we clearly have things well in hand, and we are currently evaluating what we will implement by way of a self-assessment or health questionnaire for our employees in order to comply with the executive order. And that concludes my comments for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have no council report. 19, is there anyone that has unfinished business they'd like to discuss? Not hearing any. Is there anyone that has new business?
I do. This came to me later than when I was preparing my freeholder comments. I just wanted to give recognition. This came to me from the sheriff's office. I wanted to just recognize that 2 of our county sheriff's correctional police officers were promoted. The first individual is Correctional Police Officer Jennifer Vanderwen, has been promoted to a corporal, and she's a certified field training officer, and she served in many capacities, including background investigations, administration, special operations group. She's currently assigned to the Sussex County Office of Emergency Management, where she works with the municipal emergency management coordinators in hazard mitigation planning for the county, as well as procurement and stock of PPE. And during our times of COVID, that's definitely integral to make sure that all of our municipalities have what they need and they're safe. And she is part of the team that's preparing for a potential second wave of the coronavirus. The second promotion is also another female correctional police officer, Jamie Caravaggio. She's been promoted to corporal as well. And she's a local resident, a graduate of Hope Hatcong, and a lifelong resident of Sussex County. During her tenure with the Board of Corrections, she has received commendations and letters of recognition for her performance, and she's very, very active in community service. She does that Police Unity Tour. She's done a 5-year return runner in the Stephen Sillers Tunnel Towers Foundation charity, and she's a current member of the union's executive board. She organizes the PBA Local 378 annual Christmas Toy Drive. And she's also a graduate of our Sussex County Community College. So they were both recently sworn in, and I would just like to extend from the Freeholder Board congratulations to these 2 really powerful women. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations to both of them. At this time, we are going to go to our last public session from the floor. This public session is for general questions or comments. Before we open this session, we ask callers wanting to make a comment to first state your name and municipality. The clerk will create a roster and call each in the order received. Please remember that comments are limited to 3 minutes or less. Can I have a motion from the board to open the floor for public comment, please?
Fantasia, so moved.
A second, please.
Yardley, second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, the floor is open. If anyone would like to speak, please give us your name and your municipality.
Stephen Thompson,
Okay, Stephen, where are you from?
Augusta.
Okay. Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Mayor Chris Carney, Frankfort Township.
Okay, Mayor Chris Carney. Is there anyone else?
Kathy Brennan, Hampton Township.
What was your first name, please?
Kathy.
Kathy, okay. Anyone else? Okay, Terry, do you have the 3 of them?
Yes, I do.
Okay, then you can call the roster.
Our first caller is Stephen Thompson from Augusta. Mr. Thompson, you have 3 minutes or less.
Okay. I just want to bring up what, if anything, was found out about the difference about the legislation on the VD program about they're stating no residency requirement, but yet the county prosecutor is instituting their own residency requirement, which is against what the legislation has stated. And the bias with the prosecutor's office in their statements of the veterans' attempt to excuse behavior by utilizing military service-related diagnosis is an insult, which is completely against the program. So them just using everything that they have to go against the program, and it's a statewide issue going on. And even with the residency requirement, the only one that they have admitted was on active duty at the time and was never living in the state at the whole time, which kind of goes against what they are say. And it's an open document, and they don't even post it on the website where all 20 other counties post it on the website. So they withhold it, so you can't even apply to the program unless they are willing to let you apply, which is against the whole total program. I have brought this up many times before, and just wondering what is going on with this.
Mr. Thompson, all I can say is you can refer all of those questions to the prosecutor's office because we don't handle it on our level.
Well, you oversee the court system, don't you?
No, that's a whole separate system.
Well, that's kind of a cop-out because nobody wants to handle the issues. So basically you're saying the prosecutor can get away with whatever they want to do.
Well, you would have to ask the prosecutor why that's happening. We don't tell the prosecutor what to do. We don't have any...
And the prosecutor doesn't answer. The governor doesn't answer. Nobody wants to answer to this. So basically all these illegal things that they're doing, nobody wants to take responsibility for this. So you're saying that the prosecutor can get away with whatever they want to do.
You would have to talk to the Attorney General because he's in charge of the prosecutor.
Which doesn't want to respond.
That would be the Attorney General.
And they say that they're not in the position to do anything about it. You have to talk to the local. And then you're saying that you have to go talk to them. So you guys are just pointing fingers at each other, which you guys are in office to take care of this stuff, and you guys are unwilling to do it, which you guys need to step out of. No, you guys need to step out of office because you are unwilling to fix what you guys were elected to do. Get out of office now.
Ms. Thompson, your time is up. Thank you. We'll move on to our next caller.
Step out of office.
Next caller, Mr. Thompson, your time is up. Our next caller is Mayor Chris Carney from Frankfurt. Mayor Carney, are you on the line?
I am. I just want to reiterate what, do you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I just want to reiterate what Director Patillo said earlier. I think it's important. There's 35,000 people who use our drop boxes. 57,900 voted. That's 60.44% of voters use the drop box. It just goes to show that whether you're a Democrat or Republican, people do not like what's going on. So basically, I want to say kudos to you guys for passing a resolution opposing our governor's mail-in ballots only. I think it's wrong, especially because I'm on this year's general, right, as Mr. Herbie Arley is, and I think it's unfair to us and it's unfair to our citizens. That's all I got.
Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thanks.
Our next caller is Ms. Kathy Brennan from Hampton Township.
Yes, I was just calling in regards to COVID-19. I was just calling to express some concerns that recently in the county there was a large event of over 3,500 people at the ball field, and although it was an outdoor event, there were over 3,500 people, and my concern is that there was not a requirement of social distancing or masking, and I believe some of the freeholders attended, and this greatly concerns me that this could be perhaps a super spreader event for the county.
Kathy, what event are you speaking about?
An event that was held recently. I believe it was New Jersey for Trump police and firemen or something.
Oh, okay, the rally that they had outside.
Yes, it was an outdoor event, but there was no social distancing or masking for over 3,500 people. That concerns me that could bring in some kind of super spreader event if things like that continue.
Well, I think that's been over 2 weeks, which is usually the 14 days that you have for incubation for that to actually happen, and we haven't heard about anybody getting COVID from that event.
Well, perhaps then we were very lucky if no one got it, because I think there's a possibility of it happening in that kind of an event.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your concern and your call. Appreciate it. Is there anyone else that would like to speak that we missed? Okay, not hearing any. Could I please have a motion from the board to close the public comment?
Herb Yardley, I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second, Anthony.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, 22 are reminders. Please check the county's website at www.sussex.nj.us for meeting schedules. And now we're going to go into an executive session. Terry, would you please read that for us?
Yes. Whereas the subject matters about to be discussed may be excluded from the public portion of the meeting by resolution of the Board of Chosen Freeholders as an exception to the Open Public Meetings Act pursuant to NJSA 10:4-12B, and whereas it appears necessary for the Board of Chosen Freeholders to discuss such matters in executive session, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Sussex, in accordance with the provisions of NJSA 10:4-12B and NJSA 10:4-13, that the Board at this time enter into an executive session for which the public shall be excluded, and be it further resolved that the general nature of the subjects to be discussed relate to the following items authorized by NJSA 10:4-12B as designated Item 8, matters relating to the employment relationships, various appointments. Be it further resolved that the deliberations conducted in closed session may be disclosed to the public upon the determination of the Sussex County Board of Chosen Freeholders, or provided by law that the public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality. And be it further resolved that upon the completion of business for which the Board has entered into the executive session, my question is, will you be reconvening an open session, or will you adjourn from executive session?
I don't believe we're going to be reconvening, right, Sylvia?
Sorry, I'm on mute. I'm talking to myself. We'll be adjourning from executive session. I'm sorry.
So you're going to adjourn from executive. Okay, so the Board shall not expect to take formal action after executive session, and therefore will adjourn from executive session.
Absolutely. Okay. So can I have a motion to adopt the executive session resolution and enter into executive session?
Herb Yardley makes the motion.
Okay, a second, please.
Yardley second.
Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. So I want to thank everybody for being a part of this conference call and attending this meeting, and I just wish everybody a good week and a good weekend coming up, and thank you again so much. And the Freeholders, I will meet you at the executive session on the other call.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye.